Good afternoon. I'm with Thomas Mumford, president of Scottie Resources. The symbol for Scottie is SCOT on the TSX Venture. Good afternoon, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, Robert.
So a lot of news for Scottie in the last couple of months, but let's do the most recent one, which is the $9 million that you've unlocked from the bulk sample. So tell us about the bulk sample.
Yeah, so the bulk sample, I mean, we view it as like a microcosm, a mini version of our eventual project, like a DSO type project. And so we first started looking at a bulk sample late last year. We submitted a permit application for it in January this year, received the permit in July, and we were blasting like a week or so later from that. And so really what it was a 10,000 ton mining bulk sample permit. So we're allowed to excavate up to 10,000 tons. It was a vein that outcrops right at surface, a really high grade vein, well known in the area. We blasted it twice, we mucked it out, kind of separated the ore from the waste visually. Then we crushed it at site, drove it down the road, did another cone crushing down at a gravel quarry down at the base in Stewart, and then dropped it off at the warehouse. And now we've made an arrangement with Ocean Partners to buy the bulk sample from us. So it ended up being just over 15 grams a ton gold and over 30 grams a ton silver. And then, you know, we had about 4,500 tons of material.
So let me ask you about that. The grades, 15.89 grams per ton gold and 42 grams per ton silver. I mean, seems really high grade. Was that based, was that about what you expected, or was that higher grade?
No, that was in line with what we were expecting. This was a really well mineralized vein, outcrops right at surface. So we had surface samples of it. We had drill holes through it. We've drilled, there's 30, 40 holes through this thing. It was a historic resource from when the old Scottie Gold Mine was working. So we had a pretty good understanding of what the grades were, and this came right in line with what the grades for that were expected to be. So yeah, it just kind of worked out as expected. It was honestly a much simpler process than I think many of us thought it was going to be, including the trucking. Like we had over 100 truckloads of material go down the Grand Duke Road, which is kind of a testament to the whole project of how easy it is to transport this material.
And can you explain to me the definition of net revenue? Because it said $9 million net. What does that mean exactly?
So that's how much profit we make on this bulk sample. So that takes out the cost of shipping, the payable cost with the Ocean Partners deal, the blasting, trucking, basically everything. So it generates, I think, close to $11 million. It was about a $2 million process to take it out and then ship it across the ocean. So this is net revenue. This is profit.
I see. So you'll be paid for that next week, but then there's also, another payment of 10% of the total. You'll be paid once, I guess they process it on their end.
So the way the payment works is, the estimated grade, we get a provisional payment based on that grade. Like we've estimated at 15.8. We've taken samples once it's crushed up and ground, and we've said to Ocean Partners, this is what we think it grades, this is how much we think it is, this is what the shipment is worth. That's where we get the figure of $9 million net. We're going to receive 90% of that value 5 days after the ship leaves, after we submit the bill of lading. When it gets to the other side, so when it gets to Taiwan, Ocean Partners will then sample it again. They'll go through their lab, and we'll have an umpire on that side. And if it works out exactly what we had, then we get the remaining 10%. If it's higher or lower, then we get to buffer that with that last payment.
So what did you learn from this process? I mean, was this a good exercise for Scottie that you can then take the data from this and how the process evolved and use that in the future?
Absolutely. So it was basically all the components of our DSO operation, our direct ship ore process that we've just put out in a PEA for the project, with the exception that we didn't do ore sorting on this. All the crushing, grinding, trucking, shipping components were all the same, and the eventual buyer was the same. It's all going to Ocean Partners. So yeah, I mean, tremendous amount of technical data from it. So one of the big factors for the process is how much fines are liberated when you crush it. So when you crush the rock, if we're going to run it through an ore sorter, the amount that is smaller than you can run through an ore sorter is a big factor in the economics of the project. So we get some really good information on that from this run of mine material that we're producing from blasting. We understand better now, what the vein looks like as you go deeper, kind of the pinch and swell variations within that vein. It worked actually in our favor on this project, the bulk sample. And then assay data, yeah, I mean, just a ton of technical components. And then the logistical components were kind of equally as important. So the road, being able to ship 100, plus truckloads down through Alaska back into Canada, we did some road refurbishment, which will only help us going forward. So a lot of logistical technical data was generated from here, and then obviously the net profit.
Very good. So here we are at the end of the year, Thomas. This is probably the last time that we'll speak in 2025. A lot has happened for Scottie, in 2025, and the share price has actually doubled. Can you, run us through a recap of the year and some of the key milestones that the company has achieved?
Yeah, so I mean, the big milestones for this year was we made that transition from explorer to developer. We made the conscious decision that we wanted to go with a DSO type project. We saw the gold price being able to support shipping a material instead of processing it at site. So with that, we released our maiden resource in May. So we went with a small, higher grade resource. We hired Sean Massey, mining engineer. He was the GM of Brucejack Mine for 3.5 years, so understands the area, understands mining and engineering very well. From that, we then launched into a PEA, which we just released in October, the news release for it, and then the filing will be on CEDAR in the coming week. So those were some big milestones. We also launched our biggest drill program ever. So we did 27,000 meters of drilling this year. A lot of that was towards infill drilling to increase the confidence on the geology. So taking it from inferred to indicated in order to go right into a feasibility study. And then one of the most important things that we started, which isn't as glamorous, is we started baseline environmental studies, which is the rate limiting step for us to get a permit for this project. So that was started in the summer. It's a 2-year process. So that's kind of our rate limiting step, but we're now fully subscribed to that and we're underway. So big year for sure.
Yeah, so the drill program was larger than Scottie's ever done before, 27,000 plus meters. The results from the Blueberry contact zone so far have been extraordinary. Also you've had some results from the M zone, the P zone. Tell us about the drill program and the results to date, and which zones are still pending assays.
So I'd say we've released about maybe 35% of the drill results. So we've got a lot of drill results still to come. I think we'll be putting out at least one more before the year end, and then in through January and February. So news flow stays pretty strong for us. The big takeaways that we've learned is, doing this infill drilling, taking it from a 60, 50 meter spacing between drill holes into down to like 25, 30. We're increasing the confidence on what we have there, which is only going to support a robust mining operation, both open pit and underground. And so we're seeing that at Blueberry, and then at Scottie with like our P zone drilling, our M zone drilling, we're seeing expansion potential as well at the same time. So we're seeing where we're going to be able to grow this resource as we continue to drill it out, both for geological confidence, but just also expansion.
And the Wolf Zone was a new discovery in 2024. Did you test that zone again here in 2025?
Yeah. So we probably are getting those results fairly soon. They were drilled kind of mid-season this year, waiting for the snow to melt up in the mountains. So we went back in, we drilled off the same drill pad again. I think we put 3 or 4 drill holes into the Wolf Zone. So we'll have follow-up data on the Wolf Zone for sure, coming kind of mid-flow of our news as we get those results in.
Okay. And so you'll have results coming out through probably the end of February, is that right?
Yeah, mid to late February, I suspect. I think we'll probably have everything done, processed by PDAC this year. So
And, as far as the, resource expansion, the upside, are zones like Domino or the, Mayor Zone, are they contemplated to be tested possibly in 2026?
Yeah, we've put together kind of loose plans on what we're doing next year. We're finalizing that as we close this financing on what exactly happens, but there is a significant component to, real exploration going forward. And I think Domino, you nailed it, is an excellent source of, blue sky upside on the project. I mean, it's 2 kilometers away from Scottie. It's on strike. It's got 800 meters of like outcropping, high grade mineralization. It is a big target for us. The other ones we look at will go deeper at Blueberry. So the deepest holes we've drilled at Blueberry have been down to 525 meters, and we're still hitting the structure and it's mineralized. So we look to extend that and show that we can go deeper on Blueberry. And then C and D are 2 zones that we really like. They're right near, they're in between Blueberry and Scottie, so they're an easy add-on to the mine plan as well.
So 2026, the feasibility study appears to be the big catalyst in 2026. So you'll start the feasibility study, I assume, once you have all the results from 2025, and then how long does it take to put together that feasibility study and then publish it?
Yeah, so the feasibility study will start in the new year in 2026, and then we need one more drill season. So the 2026 drill season, we get all the results from the drill season in kind of December, January. So once we've modeled that, we'll be able to put out the full feasibility study with an updated resource in early 2027, kind of late Q1, Q2-ish would be my expectation for the feasibility study being delivered.
So the timeline now is one more program in 2026, then feasibility study starts. Feasibility study, no?
Oh, sorry. The feasibility study will be midway during the drill season in 2026. It'll be just published once all the data is in and interpreted. So the feasibility gets released in early 2027.
I see. Okay, so feasibility study early 2027, and then final mine permit application in 2027. Is that right?
Yep, submitted in the mine permit application by the end of the year in 2027. Kind of the analogs to how long that process takes. So through the joint permit amendment application process, SCOT, when they submitted theirs, they received their full permit 8 months later. We're expecting kind of similar or lesser timelines, given that we don't have to have a tailings facility, we don't have to build a mill, and then the political environment right now is very supportive of mining projects. So we're hoping for that or less in terms of the permitting. So that would put us into production mid-2028.
Wow. Okay, so that's a near-term timeline, especially for the mining industry.
Totally.
2.5, 3 years is pretty near-term. So, what gives you the most confidence as we head into 2026, Thomas?
I mean, just back to the bulk sample. I mean, it was a dry run. It represented about 9 days of production of the DSO project. Like it's a substantial amount of material that we moved. We've shown that the grade is there, that you can mine it, that you can make money off this, that the margins are there, especially at $4,000 gold. I mean, our PEA was done at 2,600. So, capitalizing on that, I think the sale price for the bulk sample was at 4,100 that we did that at. So that's what gives me a ton of confidence that this is a real mining operation. It's not an exploration kind of hopes and dreams story. This is something that's going to come to fruition.
So with all the results from 2025, once those are all compiled and updated into your model, and then another drill program in 2026, how big do you think we can grow to there, at Scottie?
Yeah, I mean, by then, I'm not sure exactly. I mean, we've got a long-term growth target of a 2 million ounce deposit overall. What we'd like to do is make sure that we convert as much of the inferred that we have in the PEA to indicated. That's kind of our primary goal, and then show the expansion potential on that. Would love to add additional ounces in. It's just going to come down to how many meters we're able to drill over the 2026 season.
Okay. And then the financing, so $23.5 million financing, and that has actually been increased to, I believe, 25 million now. How much runway does that give the company in 2026?
Yeah, that fully funds our current exploration plans for 2026. So between the money that we have in the bank right now, the bulk sample cash coming in, and that financing, that we're fully funded to get through till next year.
Okay, very good. So I guess final word. I'll give you the final word, Thomas. Like, what can investors look forward to from Scottie in 2026?
I think you're looking for another year of very strong news flow. We are pushing quite hard, and you saw what we were able to turn around in the last year. I think what's on the future is a re-rating to a developer status as we go into a feasibility level study and have that such a short timeline to production. I think this is a great time to really take a close look at Scottie and where they'll be in the next couple of years.
Thomas, thank you for your time. Cheers and Happy New Year.
Thanks for having me again.